All right, up next is Missouri-Kansas City women's coach, Marsha Frese. If you want to go ahead and just give us your thoughts on the season.
A lot of question marks. Super excited to kick off year 3 here in Kansas City and see where our young team can take us. Obviously lost some phenomenal seniors last year in Eileen O'Connor and Kim Nazanya, both finishing their careers in the all-time record books at UMKC. But very, very excited to showcase, the future of UMKC women's basketball style of play, and excited to see where our young team can take us.
Coach, do you feel like it's a decently wide open league this year? There's a lot of teams that could make a run and potentially win it.
Absolutely, and I think the conference championships last year really indicated that. Just you get past the first round of games, and every game was decided within 10 points or less. And I think you see throughout the course of a year just how much progress everybody makes, especially when they've got young players as they learn your system and really grow into their roles. Obviously Cal Bakersfield this year has one of the best players in the conference in Tyona Outland, and they do have a lot of experience. But I think as long as you stay focused on your own style of play and what you can control, March, anything can happen.
There's not a lot of NCAA tournament experience for the teams in this conference. Is that kind of an exciting opportunity when you look at it in that way? Yeah,
absolutely. And I think for us personally, just the opportunity to do something that's never been done at UMKC for the women's basketball program is always what we strive for, to be remembered, for putting a program on the map. And as you sit in Kansas City right now and watch all the success of the sports teams in town, and even our own women's volleyball team that is just having a record-setting season, you see how quickly, success breeds success. So very excited, to be a part of that process this year in Kansas City.
What are your thoughts about the strength of the league as a whole on a national scale?
Yeah, I think we're still building our identity, but I think every year I see more and more recognition throughout the country of what the players in this league are capable of. I think with some of the changes in the last year or two, we're growing that identity. But without question, we are one of the most athletic conferences, across the board. A lot of diversity in the style of play. From team to team, there's just a lot of variety in the skill sets of the athletes and the players that are in this league. So it's a fun league to play in because, every single night is a chess match, and you've got to adjust and, figure out what's going to be successful against the team you're facing on that particular night.
What goes into sort of building that profile for the league? Is it on an individual team basis, or is it something that happens in the league overall, or how does that work?
I think it starts team by team, brick by brick, so to speak. And I know all the coaches in this league have a lot of pride in what they're doing. And I think when you take that individual pride in your program and the success that you want to have, obviously our strength is in numbers. I know, at least from my perspective, the coaches are amazingly supportive of each other, really communicate, just even scheduling issues of how can we, be fair with each other and create balance so that we can put the best product out on the floor. And I think as the league continues to evolve, we see that individual success growing the profile of the league.
Coach, you've got Callie White returning, who is an exceptional three-point shooter, not afraid to pull the trigger at all. How do you think she has developed into a leader on your team? And based on what you've seen in practice so far, are there any newcomers that have surprised you?
Well, Callie, first and foremost, Callie, really separated herself in the preseason, came back in just the best shape of her life, and just competes every single day. And we really made a conscious choice last year to make sure that Callie was ready and battle-tested. I think she finished up top 5 in the league last year in minutes played. So she's made a lot of mistakes and is ready for the role she's in this year. I always judge experience based on game minutes, not year in school. So as I tell her, she's a junior now, so she doesn't get to make sophomore level mistakes. As far as new kids and freshmen coming in. You know, it was a giant freshman class of 7. None of them have really surprised me. We knew what they all were capable of. What has surprised me more than anything is just what sponges they are, you know, how much they want to accelerate their own growth process, you know, how much they're going to contribute to our success this year, and just that they want to be a part of it this quickly in their careers. So, you know, very excited, you know, with the combination of new kids with the returners we do have coming back.
Coach, from the 2012-2013 season, your team improved by a number of wins. So looks like you're headed in the right direction. What are some of the expectations that you have for your team?
Yeah, we don't talk at all about expectations. We talk about standards. You know, we don't expect and hope and wish and dream that, you know, we can make things happen. We have a standard of how we do things, and that's what we work towards. By no means are we there yet, but we do know what it looks like. We know what we're striving for, and that's what guides us every single day. Is this the standard of excellence that we want to put out on the court? So I think part of the process for this year and in the last 2 years was, yes, we've made improvements on the court. I think it's more about the process of changing the style of play at UMKC, of changing, you know, what our players look like as far as size and strength and conditioning and things like that. And that has been the standard that we've put out there, and we've really seen a remarkable change in that standard and that culture in the last 2.5 seasons.
You've been an assistant coach at some very successful programs, big-time programs. How does that experience help you in trying to build this UMKC program?
Oh, it's been everything. And, you know, I think for me, first and foremost, you know, I started my career with my sister Brenda, you know, and my first day as an assistant coach was her first day ever as a head coach. And it was an unbelievable learning experience. I watched every mistake she made. You know, I had every inside dialogue and conversation, and, you know, I got to watch her go through it and learn herself how to be a head coach. So, you know, every single day I reflect back on that education that I got from her. How you run a program, I think sometimes is the biggest challenge that new head coaches face. And obviously I'm extremely lucky that, you know, every single day I can pick up the phone and, you know, pick the brain of a national championship coach and, you know, learn from her. So I've been very, very fortunate in my career to be prepared for this opportunity.